Training.com, CWI prep course. Come visit us at our website at train-eng.com, pronounced training. This is our CWI prep course. This is as you go through some of these videos, these will be some snippets or samples out of our online training course. If you like what you see here in the sample section, come and visit us and take the course. Unlike a lot of other programs, we've got it set up so that you can do it a la carte. If you only need to, we've got different parts of the CWI course broken out. So if you don't need to sit through and take safe practices for welding inspectors, or you have some strengths that you know of and you want to streamline the process and only hit the sections where you don't really have a strong background or a great deal of proficiency, our program is set up so you can take some of these parts of the CWI online course a la carte. Pick and choose, put together what you want. Leave the rest, like a Chinese food buffet. CWI prep course, electrical safety, module 2, part 10. This module we're going to talk about electrical safety and electrical shock. A couple of things that are very important due to the fact that everything we do with arc welding is dealing with electricity. So generally it's pretty safe, but there is the opportunity for something to go wrong when you're dealing with electricity.
Electric shock is a peril associated with electric resistance and electric arc welding. A shock can happen because the equipment isn't properly grounded. Direct contact with energized leads or from contact with the welding leads via moist gloves or clothing or damp floors or humid air. Even though welding generally uses low voltage, there is still a danger of electric shock. The environmental conditions of the welder, such as wet or cramped spaces, may make the likelihood of shock greater. Falls and other accidents can result from even a small shock. Brain damage and death can result from a large shock. Pretty good reasons to be cognizant of electric shock and to understand that there are precautions that you want to take to keep this from happening to anybody. Some acronyms, terms, definitions. ANSI, American National Standards Institute, an organization promoting technical and safety standards. ANSI Z49.1, Safety in Welding, Cutting, and Allied Processes, a document outlining safe practices for welding and cutting operations. ANSI Z87.1, Practice for Occupational Educational Eye and Face Protection. AWS, the American Welding Society. AWS is the technical leader in welding and related issues. Combustibles, any material that can easily catch fire. Cryogenic, very cold service, usually well below 0 degrees F.
Electric shock can kill a worker regardless of voltage level. A shock severity is measured by the amount of current flowing through the body, the length of time the body is in contact with the current, and the path the current takes through the body. Avoid electric shock by following safe work practices for electric power tools, appliances, light fixtures, and machinery. Tools and equipment. Use tools and equipment according to the manufacturer's instructions. Inspect equipment and tools before using them. Remove defective tools from service, such as those with frayed cords, missing prongs, or cracked casings. Do not repair tools yourself. Attach do not use tags to defective tools and let others know not to use them. Place them in an area set aside for broken equipment and report defects to a supervisor. Never use electric appliances or tools near water. Use double insulated tools, those with non-metallic cases, but remember, you can still be shocked if water enters the tool's housing. If a double insulated tool is dropped into water, disconnect the power source before you reach for it. Clean and inspect tools when you are done with them. This includes your cords too. Make sure the cords are up to snuff, that they're not torn or ripped, or there's anything showing metallic, a conductor, so something that could come back to get you.
Electric shock. The arc welding, you're dealing with electricity. You need to Be cognizant of electric shock. The insulation on welding and current leads is undamaged and the conductor is thick enough to carry the current safely. Need to have this. You don't want a bunch of ratty cables. All connectors are clean, undamaged, and correctly rated for the current required. Don't use welding equipment with damaged insulation on the welding cables, plugs, clamps, torch, electrode holder. Use the appropriate personnel protective equipment for the task. Properly place and protect the welding cables carefully to avoid any accidental damage to the cable insulation layer and exposure of the inner copper conductor. Use proper cable connectors to extend the welding cables. This is all pretty much common sense. Clean, undamaged, and correctly rated for the current required. Don't use welding equipment with damaged insulation on the welding cables. All this stuff is pretty much common sense, but you'll run into a lot of times when human beings aren't about common sense and they'll take shortcuts to get the job done. Well, I'll just do it this one time. Well, sometimes that can lead to catastrophic events.
In this module, we covered electric shock. Modern world, everything you're going to do is going to deal with some form of electricity, power transmission, motors, everything's electric. And arc welding is electric. So, grinders and all the power tools, electric. So you got to just keep heads up. Once again, it's not your workplace, so you're probably not going to be handling all the tools, but you need to be on the lookout for unsafe situations that could involve electricity. Just try and stay safe and realize that electricity is a very powerful tool, but it is also something that's very dangerous and can end your life in a real hurry. So just be cognizant of electricity and the hazards associated with electricity. We've got one section where it's questions, and more questions. We've got a whole number of CWI self-study question bank, $40. Come on in, take it, take a look, see. If you just need questions, if you sat through another course and you just want to keep hitting the material, check out our question bank, $40. Our CWI CWE online Part A video course, $149. It's self-study CWI exam. Everything's an online video course.